When the enemy struck at Pearl Harbor, the whole of America's mighty productive machinery was thrown into high gear to place the country on a full war footing. The Congress quickly enacted legislation providing for the greatest construction program in the history of the world. Almost overnight, the Bureau of Yards and Docks of the Navy Department became a billion-dollar concern. Recognizing the need for an organization of skilled workers to build advanced bases in active theaters of war, the Bureau of Yards and Docks obtained authority for the establishment of the 1st Naval Construction Battalion in charge of officers of the Civil Engineer Corps of the Navy. From this 1st Battalion of 1,100 officers and men, the personnel of the Seabees increased with the demands of war to 3,300, 10,000, 30,000, until at the present time, the total authorized strength is 222 active battalions with approximately 290,000 officers and men. It is difficult to put into words a full account of their services to the fighting forces, but I feel sure that this tour of Seabee activities, as seen through the eyes of the motion picture camera, will justify our confidence in this youngest member of the great Navy family, whose motto, Construimus Batuimus, we build, we fight, is translated into action in the film you are about to see.
These are Japanese planes. Their destination, Pearl Harbor, Midway, Tahiti, Wake. Their purpose, treachery, destruction, war. These are civilian American workmen. Japan is at war with them. But they are not yet at war with Japan. All they had come for was to build things, put a little dough aside for the kids, and hope to get home for Christmas with the family. No, they were not at war. But Hirohito was. He had other plans for their Christmas. He was delivering his Christmas surprises early this season. Some of these men wore navy blue, and some wore overalls. But through the enemy bomb sights, they all looked the same, just Americans. We learned many lessons that morning. One of them was the need for giving workmen at advanced bases military training. Civilians, for all their courage, lacked weapons or the ability to use them. If they were wounded, there was no government compensation. If they were captured, they were not entitled to treatment as prisoners of war. A new war presented new problems and a new solution. For out of the very fire that the Japs left behind them was forged a unique type of service organization, the Navy's Construction Battalions, or Seabees, as they came to be called. America's answer to the need for skilled craftsmen ready to work under fire and to defend their work and themselves against enemy attack. All over the country, American workmen met this challenge. Machinists, carpenters, pipe fitters, steel workers, truck drivers, riggers, electricians, painters, welders, divers. From 17-year-old boys just out of trade school to gray-haired veterans of World War I. Swedes from Minnesota, Poles from the coal mines of Pennsylvania, Irish boys from Brooklyn, Scotch, English, Jews, Italians, Negroes, all races, colors, creeds, but all Americans. The skill that helped to build our country goes to war. Not in 7 easy lessons, but in 8 tough weeks, the Navy teaches the civilian craftsman to be a fighting builder. Thousands of individual workers, now forged into one great military organization, pass in review with their motorized weapons, infused with the Seabee spirit. We build, we fight.
Seabees of the Navy, we can build and we can fight. We'll pave the way.
Ready to build and defend advanced bases from the Arctic to the tropics, a new battalion leaves the training camp at the amazing rate of one every other day.
And we promise we'll remember our
American workmen, defenseless no longer, shoving off for battle stations.
seas of the seven seas.
Destination for this Seabee battalion is strategic Dutch Harbor, the first big stepping stone on the road to Edak, Kiska, Attu, an American reoccupation of the Aleutian chain, so vital to our offensive strategy in the North Pacific. Towering snow-capped mountains rising from the sea make this great arsenal of the North one of the most impressive sights in the Western Hemisphere. But the Seabees haven't come to admire the scenery. They've come to change it. The iron jaws of the steam shovels bite into the fallen mountainside. Bulldozers, heavy tanks of construction, level roads where only walls of earth had stood before. In weather so cold that concrete has to be heated before it can be poured, the Seabees are on the job, laying foundations for gun emplacements. Oil tanks, storehouses, concrete foundations on which victory will be built. The fine art of logistics, a big word for the big job of getting the right thing to the right place at the right time, made it necessary for the Seabees to bring their own lumber yard with them. And lumber plus Seabees quickly adds up to an imposing total of barracks, hospitals, shipyards, warehouses. A modern advanced base built to withstand the most savage attacks of nature as well as the enemy. A naval base thoroughly equipped to supply and serve the planes and ships that were gathering for a great offensive in the north. No longer would warships damaged in action have to creep back to Seattle for necessary repairs. When the Seabees promised to have this destroyer out to sea in 36 hours, the skipper said it couldn't be done. But the Seabees' answer became a famous slogan: "Can do." 36 hours later, the destroyer was rejoining her task force, and a jubilant skipper was expressing his gratitude to the Seabees in an official commendation. In all my experience with shipyards, I have never seen such tireless energy. In spite of suggestions that the Seabees be relieved for rest, many of them worked 36 hours straight until the job was done. That's how the Seabees became a legend in the Aleutians. That's how victory was made inevitable at Attu. If you think of the